Good evening, welcome to Mum and Daddy's restaurant. Have you got a table booked this evening? What's the name? Check. There we go. Evan and Lucas?
Yes.
Table for two?
Yes.
If you'd just like to follow me to your table. And your name. Okay. You will serve as a little wipe here for your hands. Have you washed? So have you been here before to Mum and Daddy's restaurant, or is this your first time? Your first time. Okay. What was your first time as well? Mum and Daddy's restaurant. Well, welcome to our restaurant, and as you see, we've got your menu there. So what we've got for starters is cheesy nachos, and then followed by chicken quesadillas. So my name's Mummy, and I'll be your waitress for tonight. And you're in for a real treat tonight because you have the head chef, who is Daddy, who will give you your food. So can I get a drinks ordered for you? What would you like? That's a Coke, no problem. And what would you like to do? A blackcurrant? Yes, no problem at all. You want milk as well, right? No problem at all, we'll get that for you.
Hi, good evening, gentlemen. I'm the head chef, and I'm Daddy. I believe you ordered the Thai Coke and the milk for you, sir. I've got some special wine tonight. This is from the Robinson's Reserve. I'll put my hat down. This is a special wine. This is Robinson's Reserve. It's a 2020. It's from our apple and blackcurrant reserve. If I'd just like to pour a little glass for you, sir. How are you tonight? Okay? How are you, sir? Well, the waitress will be along just in a minute to take your order. Okay? Thank you.
Here we go, here's your nachos for you, sir. There you go. Just watch it a wee bit hot. And here you go. And that's for you. Is everything okay there for you?
Yes.
Yeah, enjoying the nachos? Good. Brilliant. If you need anything, just give me a wee shout. How was that for you?
Very good.
Did you enjoy that? Did you? The best. So I'll pass your compliments on to the chef then. Thank you so much. And would you like a break before you have your quesadilla, or would you like it straight away?
Could we straight away?
Straight away? Yes, no problem. I'll get the chef right onto that for you.
Good evening, gentlemen. I've got your main course here.
Thank you.
It's the quesadilla de pollo e con queso, which means in Spanish chicken and cheese, and our special Heinz salsa there, also known as ketchup. And for you, sir, please enjoy. Have a good night. Thank you.
That is all finished here then?
Yes.
I'll take that. Thank you. And are we ready for dessert? Would you like dessert? Okay, so our choices this evening are vanilla ice cream with toffee sauce, mint chocolate chip ice cream, or a strawberry ice lolly.
A strawberry.
You would like a strawberry ice lolly? No problem. And for yourself?
Do you think I could have a wee bit of mint chocolate chip and a wee bit of vanilla?
So you'd like both some vanilla ice cream, and I'm sure I'll ask the chef, but I don't see that being a problem. And I'll get that straight out to you. Yes? Okay, thank you.
There we are, gentlemen. Hope you're enjoying your meal. A strawberry ice lolly for yourself, sir, and some mint chocolate with vanilla and some sauce. Enjoy.
There we go, the bill. And I'm just going to take that and rip it up because dinner is on Mum and Dad tonight, so you don't need to pay a penny.
Thank you.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to TNT, Thursday Night Talk. I am your host, Justin Allen. For the past couple of weeks, we looked at some interesting topics. How to cope on the lockdown, on the front lines through the eyes of a first responder. And just last week, we looked at don't suffer in silence, how to access help. Now, just now, you just focus on a video, a very interesting video. Parents were doing their stuff with their children. Just imagine that. We've had also trained professionals each night and persons said to me that this program or these types of programs should be aired all through the country. But I just want to let you know that these programs are going all around the world. So we just want to welcome all those, first of all, who are in Barbados, those of you who are joining us regionally, and those of you who are joining us internationally. We just want to take the time to welcome you. For those of you who are on Zoom, we welcome you. For those of you who are on YouTube, we welcome you as well. Now, in the studio with me, we have two special guests. I will, tell you some things about them a little later, but at this time, we will just pause for a word of prayer. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we give you thanks. All of these things, Lord, is just because you are great, and we are humbled by what you have allowed us to do, to reach the world through this technology. And we give you thanks for it. We give you thanks for electricity. We give you thanks for the internet. And we give you thanks for the equipment. We give you thanks for the persons, the workers, the producers, the team, the members, all of these things. Guide and direct this program in Jesus' name. Amen. For those of you who just joined us, I am your moderator, Justin Allen. And I have, for the last couple of weeks, I've been blessed by the things that we have been doing night after night, week after week. These social topics, these topics are very interesting. A person stopped me in the street the other day and said to me, listen, this show needs to go on. This show needs to continue. This show needs to be, worldwide. But they just have to remind them this is worldwide. And they also said to me that we need to delve deeper into some other social stuff as well. But before we go on, we just want to thank our sponsors, the St. Thomas District of Seventh-day Adventists, for allowing us to use their Zoom platform, and Clayton's Fresh Produce and Patrick's Variety. We just want to thank our sponsors. Tonight, we have two very hard-working young persons, just like myself, young persons, to help us to deal with the topic. And tonight's topic is, listen carefully, you got to listen carefully for this one. My children are at home. Help. And if you look around, I am currently in the bedroom of one of my children, Giovanni's bedroom. I'm in his bedroom now doing this broadcast because I need help. Imagine that, the moderator needs help. So tonight I want to welcome on studio, virtual studio, because we are practicing our physical distancing. We have with us Roxanne White and Roger Cummins. Roxanne and Roger, welcome to TNT, Thursday Night Talk. And the topic again, the children, we're gonna make it personal. My children are home. Help. So to get some help tonight, we have with us Roxanne White and Roger Cummins. And at this time, we're gonna ask them to open their videos so that we can see them and they can be seen throughout the world. So we just want to welcome them. Welcome, Roger and Roxanne. So in this order, Roxanne, you go first, ladies first. Introduce yourself to the St. Thomas District and to the wider world.
Hi, good night, everyone. Thank you very much, Justin. It's a privilege to be here. You said you need help. I think we all need help. So I'm really happy and excited to share tonight. I'm a mom of two beautiful kids, Luke and Anthony. They keep me chipping, keep me creative. And I'm happy to share with the district and with the world, as you said tonight, how we cope during this COVID-19 crisis.
Okay, thank you very much. The challenges of life, are very great. And because we just spoke about Roger, and Roger is trying to come in at this moment. So we're gonna go on until he gets in, because Roger also has children, and that may be the challenge for him not getting on as yet. All right, Roxanne.
That's
so
good.
Tell us how your week went, or how your week is going so far.
So my week has been interesting. Homeschooling is a whole new dimension for me. I'm not accustomed to schooling children in any form per se. And it's been a big adjustment. This week, balancing between Luke, Anthony, different ages, different needs, different demands. It lends to interesting life. And one that you get up every day, you don't know what you're gonna deal with, and you have to find a way to keep your spirits up, keep your energy up, because they have endless energy. I really try to cope. But I think we're making it. We're all alive, all still sane, and doing our best to stay on top of the challenges that we face every day.
Great, great. Now, one of the things that we want to let our audience know is that you can send in your questions. We have our producers, they will take the questions. You know, at a certain time, what we will do is that we will pause. We're going to have my co-host. She's going to take the questions. For those of you who are on YouTube, just know that you can send in your questions on YouTube. We have a person on YouTube checking the questions. And then also on Zoom, you can put them in the chat. And then we're going to ask the questions to our very special guest here tonight. For those of you who are just joining us, we want to welcome you to TNT Thursday Night Talk, sponsored by the St. Thomas District of Seventh-day Adventists. We want to get rolling because, you know, our time is very short. And we just want to ask Roxanne, tell us something, just one simple tip you want to share that you don't want no person to forget. Even if they forget everything else you said, tell me one thing you want all of our listeners, our viewers to know about how to cope with dealing with our children.
So I will, and I have this right at the top of my notes. John 15:4-5 says, "Abide in me and I in you. As the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine, no more can ye except ye abide in me. Without me, you can do nothing." And I think that is the beginning and ending of coping with all that we have to cope with during this crisis, because God has to walk before us. He has to be behind us. He has to be beside us. Through it all, without him, we will not make it. And I think once we commit our lives, our activities, our children to him, it makes a world of difference in how we manage everything going forward. So that's one thing I want everybody to hold tight to.
Great, great. And now joining us is Roger Cummins. Roger, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. Great to have you. So, Roger, just, introduce yourself to the folks, let the folks know who you are. Welcome to the St. Thomas District as well. Also, we have folks joining us from all across the region, all across the world. And so just introduce yourself, Roger.
All right. Good evening. Let me apologize for being late. I was rushing to finish something that I thought would have finished before, but I'm here. I don't know what Justin want me to say. It's just myself. I'm a husband. I'm a father of 2 children, ages 8 and 5, 2 girls. And I'm an attorney at law by profession and a social worker at heart.
All right. So we have 2 persons who are very much experienced in the topic we are discussing. So again, for those of you who just joined us, welcome, all of you welcome to Thursday Night Talk. And we're looking at the topic, My Children Are Home, Help. Hence why I'm in Giovanni's bedroom, because I need help. And that is the reason why we have this show this evening. So let's get straight on to the questions. The first one I will ask, how to occupy their non-school time? How to occupy their non-school time? Would more devices be bad at this time? First question, we start with Roger first, and then we will go to Roxanne.
How to occupy their non-school time? I'm aware that I'm speaking to various publics, so the response will be different. But at this point in time, for my daughters who go to a private school, they're not in public school. Since school has restarted, there has not been much non-school time. And that has been my reality over the last 2 weeks. I heard that the public schools are restarting, I believe, on Monday, sometime next week. So if this question would have been asked a couple of weeks ago, then it would have been how to occupy the time, all of that time that they had available. But it's a matter of a number of things. Number 1, planning. Number 2, proper scheduling. Number 3, balance. Number 4, variety, and in no particular order. It's important that we find a number of things to do. What I do personally, I am fortunate in the sense that where I live, we have a little space behind us, and then beyond that space, there is a cane field that has been harvested a few weeks ago. So that's another acre or two of open space. And what we normally do on evenings just before the sunset, the girls and I would go up into the field or go up into the cane field, and we would run, we would play, we would race them. I really shouldn't be racing, but we would we would race to see who wins the race. We played catch. We take a ball. I mean, remember these are 5 and 8, so is that particular age group that I'm talking about. We play catch. We play cricket. Then we come back down in an area where we have a little lawn, and then we exercise. Uh, just basic stretches, squats, jumping jacks, various things, physical activity, especially if we're sitting all day and looking at the screen and doing all these things. So we make sure that there's adequate amount of physical activity. And we vary the activity. There's stretches, there are exercises, there's running, there's cricket, there's catching, there are various things. And that is just one small section on the evening. We normally do that just before the sun sets. But then if I am not going anywhere, probably for a day or 2 or 3, then when we go to start the car just to make sure the battery is still working, turn on the lights, etc., they go and they have a million questions. What is this? What is this? How does this work? What does that do? May just reverse a little while, drive forward. Daddy, can we take down the handbrake? Can we, do this? At first, mom was skeptical. You already trust them to do that, but I said teach them and educate them so they will know what to do and what not to do, and the dangers that would occur when that is done. So we find time doing that, and then there are a number of things around the home that have to be done, and every single one based on the stage that they're at and learning. There's a lesson to be learned. So they may be
I don't want
learning
you to give all
fractions.
the answers now, Roger. I don't want you to give
Okay.
all the answers now. So what we're going to do, we're going to ask Roxanne the same question. So we want to make sure that we give balance, make sure that, Roxanne get her piece in as well.
Sure.
So don't give all of your secrets yet, Roger. We're going to make sure we can pick all of your brain tonight, Roger. Don't worry. Yes, Roxanne, similar question to you. How to occupy, well, their non-school time, and, if the devices, more devices would be bad.
So devices for me are hard. Kids love devices, and for my kids, I get the complaint we've been working all day. We haven't done anything fun on our devices because no, the devices have become a work instrument instead of a social pastime. So we're trying to find a way to balance that because I know they want to watch their shows, they want to watch something here and there, and I don't want to say no completely. So there are times that we will let some of those in, but then trying to make sure that there are things that are educational, things that they can learn from, and then to keep the time limited as well. So it's not too much overload on devices. So I wouldn't say no on devices after a whole day of device. I wouldn't say it that completely because sometimes I might need a half an hour to finish dinner or to get something else done that I need them occupied. But generally, if you don't have to, but there's something that I have found over these past weeks, and I think for the parents and the children, show everybody some grace. I think as parents, we come down hard on ourselves. We come down hard on our children to have everything perfect. I'm guilty of it. We want them to do all the right things and get everything scheduled right, and most times it stresses them out. So for me, after they've done, because right now my kids as well are in private school, and it's from 9 to 1, and then after is schoolwork and practicing piano and practicing violin. So after I'm like, what do you want to do? And that's often my question, what would you want to do? How do you feel now? Are you tired? Do you want to go outside to play? Give them some flexibility and room to decide how their afternoons will be spent. As Roger said, the outdoor time for me is critical. For us, our run around exercise time comes on mornings. My kids are 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock raisers, problem.
Wow.
So 5:30, we can be up running around the house. We did 10 laps yesterday morning just to get them, burn off a little energy, get them geared up for the day. And also spend that time to teach them some disciplines, because on mornings when we're going to school, regular school, it's hard. They don't get up at 4 or 5 o'clock. And it's often a rush exercise. So I've been trying to find this time to help them to learn to make sure their beds are made. I made them properly. Some little life skill teaching moments in there. And after, to help to cook dinner, help to make the salads for dinner, help to do various things around the house. So we occupy those times with some life skill, with some downtime, that's you time. And with a lot of outdoor activity, because I think for them it's misery to be stuck in a house all day. I think it's torture for kids. It's torture for us, but for them, and I don't think they really appreciate, like, they're like, yeah, okay, COVID, so what? We just want to see somebody else other than you. And I think to understand where they are and how they feel is a big thing for me. Show them grace and show ourselves grace too. Because being in online school isn't easy. It puts pressure on parents. And I think we have to give ourselves a minute to come down from it. The first 2 days of homeschool, I had a nap after, because I'm like, it was intense. It was going from one child to another child. My children are 8 and 5 as well. And it was really a lot. So show them some grace. I think that's the important thing. Speak to them, find out how they feel, where they're at in the day, what they feel like doing. I try not to make their afternoons too rigid. After we've done all things that we should do, I kind of give them some leverage to say, hey, what do you want to do now? What would you like? Limited devices, but not restricting them completely. And if it's done, we try to do it as a family, a family moment.
Great answers from Roger. Great answers from Roxanne. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm hoping that you are paying attention to what these persons are saying. Don't make it too rigid, make it flexible, have a plan, have something to do, have something that the children enjoy as well. That is something that I also would want to do as well. So let's talk about eating. So we talk about exercise, let's talk about eating. What are the healthy, quick, and cheap options for feeding them now that we are all, pretty much locked down, locked in? What are some of the quick things that we can do, healthy too, that we can do to get our children involved, get our children active? Any order. Roger, you can go first, or Roxanne. Doesn't matter.
All right, I'll take a stab at this one. And I laughed, honestly, when I saw this. I'm like, healthy, quick, and cheap. Those three don't often go together, and that's reality. And we're gonna fool ourselves if we think we're gonna get away. The quick things often are not necessarily healthy. But I found the thing to do is to plan. For meal times, planning, I think, is everything, especially when you can't run out to supermarkets to get things when you want. And the kids are eating more. They're having more to eat. So one of my first things is you can't eat all day. That doesn't work for us. We still have them on a fairly scheduled eating pattern, but with a little leeway. But I find in terms of understanding the things that they like, but making sure that we have our fruits and vegetables incorporated in there. Now, my kids are fruit kids. They will eat their fruits, vegetables, dodgy. So I finding interesting ways to present their vegetables, making animals with stuff, and YouTube and Pinterest are famous for these things. Find interesting ways of making sure that they get their fruits and vegetables in, because I think it's always important to keep them healthy, but even no more so to make sure their immune systems are built up and they're able to cope with whatever is going around. So I said, keep their fruits and vegetable intakes up. it's hard for us as parents, but utilize even the local fruits, these sour sops, and find different ways, make Kool-Aid with sour sops, find interesting ways to present food to them, but natural things. Another thing that I would suggest is in terms of their sugar intake, keep that down. These sweet biscuits and these salty things, if you can stay away from those, stay away, because those are things that ultimately are gonna harm them. It's not doing them much good. Let them come in every now and again, but keep them on a low. And then like water. Kids don't always love water, but I find we can find a middle ground. Slice some oranges and put in that water bottle to give it a little, give it a little flavor, give it a little tang so that they can enjoy it still, but they're still getting what they need. Another thing I think in terms of your planning, like when my kids first were home, the way they were eating was demanding too much of me to always go to prepare something for them. So if you can store things like making patties and putting them in the freezer, having things that can go, they're ready to go. Not expensive again. If you make them, I mean, it's time consuming at a point, but if you do them in advance, put them all in the freezer and then take them out as you need them. Those things help to save time, and it helps you to manage better when they're ready to eat and you don't have the minute to spare. You can think about it in advance. I think that is the key. Think about it in advance, plan for it, and have things that are available already that don't have much sugar and don't have too much salt. That's my thing to work on.
Great, Roxanne. Thank you. Go ahead, Roger.
Yeah, what I was going to say is, again, I believe that I am doubly blessed in this particular area because, number one, we introduced fruits and vegetables as a major part of their diet from very small. I guess there are some children who get that introduction, but then they turn away. But at this stage, we don't have that problem. They love fruits. They love vegetables. The only time you may have a difficulty is if maybe it's a vegetable that is not too popular and you try to introduce something new that they're not accustomed to. You may have a little pushback, but I've been blessed in that area that they've always loved fruits and vegetables. So sometimes, occasionally, they would ask for a snack, but they would ask for fruit just as much as they would ask for a snack. So I don't really have the snack challenge. The snack challenge, the biggest problem with that comes from me. I love snacks. So when they see me with snacks, then they will want snacks. But generally, I don't have that difficulty. The other thing as well is that we've always practiced them from the time they were very small. They always had a water bottle on the table, so they drink water throughout the day, and they go and refill their bottle, so we don't have a problem getting them drink water. Again, because of the ages that they're at, even preparation is made easier because they want to help, and that's more their mother's thing. If I'm in the kitchen, I want to do what I have to do and get out of the kitchen. But mom would entertain them, I would engage them, and she would let them do this to mix certain things, if we squeeze something. She would cut things and tell you can add this or whatever. So they are not only they're also seeing what is done, how it's being done, the work that has to go into it. So they appreciate it more. And then obviously when it's finished, even though they would have done one or two little things, they say, oh, I made this. Come, you have to eat this. You have to eat more of this than anything because I made this. So getting them involved, again, as the last thing Roxanne was saying is planning. Make sure you have, again, as much as possible, a variety. And as she did say, the cheaper things are the quicker things are, and cheaper things are sometimes the most unhealthy. So I mean, you may not want to get away from them completely, or can't get away from them completely, but make sure that there's that balance, that the vegetables are in, the fruits are in, and that to do things, research. You don't have to know everything. That's what YouTube is there for. That's what Google is there for. Since we've been on lockdown, I've tried at least 3 different dishes. I mean, I didn't plan to try anything. I was on Facebook and said, it's actually look good. We look for the ingredients and try this here. And, so whatever you have in your home, there's some, as long as you have access to Google or YouTube, you have very little challenge.
Yep, I learned to make bread since I've been home. So, yeah. you choose
Right.
work.
Right. Learning new things are, those are the things we have to do now. We are on lockdown. Learning a lot of new things. Learning how to cook, learning how to prepare recipes, learning a new language, learning Zoom. So these are the things we have to do to keep ourselves active. Now, I want to introduce at the half an hour mark, my co-host, my lovely co-host, Kim. Kim, we have questions from YouTube and Zoom. So at this time, I'm going to ask my co-host to come in and ask the panelists some questions. Kim?
Good evening. Thank you, Justin. Good evening to Roxanne and Roger.
Good evening.
Hello.
First question, what tips can be given to parents who are working from home and they have to help with the online schooling of their children?
Okay. I can appreciate and understand that very much because, again, it depends on the makeup of your household. That is a single parent household. If both parents are working from home, one is out, the dynamics are going to vary. In my house, we both work from home, and to add to that, my wife is also a teacher. So while my children are at school, she's teaching her children at school as well. So she doesn't have that time. She has to be with her children. So primarily is up to me. If she were a single parent and a teacher, the dynamics would change. It would be much more difficult. But what we need to do is, I know children are very tech savvy. And there's some things that they can do on their own already. You teach them early. They know to mute. They know to unmute. They know how to start the video, to stop the video. So teach them, show them, set them up the first time. After the first couple of times, Chelsea, the elder one, came and said, I know how to do it now. Just give me the Zoom ID and give me the password. And I gave her, and after the first day, she said, okay, I don't need the password out of my head. Just need the Zoom ID. So set them up, and if there's some issue, they will come, they will shout and say, Dad, come. But set them up, show them the basics, and then let them find their space, a space for them. You find your space or your corner, and then you don't give yourself too much, because my experience has been there isn't that much that I can do, even though they are working. I very have to get it every couple of minutes to something. So I just do very little while they're at school, and just try to make sure that that they're the hardest thing for me is to make sure that they're maintain their interest. They want to pass them. I don't want them to be teachers to be teaching and they're supposed to be doing something or listening, and they're playing with a toy, or their backs are turned from what is going on or whatever. So it's just a matter of planning, teach them basic things, and just try to follow and have some balance.
Thank you very much. Another question that may fall in line with this just a little bit. One of our parents said they have heard some horror stories about homeschooling. Is it as bad as it sounds? What should I expect? How can I prepare myself for it?
So I think one of the key things for homeschooling or virtual schooling, because I'm assuming that they mean with someone teaching their child from virtually, is to have a good relationship with your child's teacher. Try to get that going as early as possible. Going back to the parents that are working, I find having that good relationship, you're able to speak to teachers about recording sessions where a child might not be able to be on for a session. Let them know in advance about those things. Ensure that they are aware of the challenges that you might face as a parent with your homeschooling situation. The other thing I would say too is to ensure that your schedule remains fairly consistent with the kids as far as it's possible. Get them in a routine so they know 9 to 1 it's time to be on. And then 2 to 3 is when we do our schoolwork. So that they get into a routine that they can get accustomed to and not just be no, I do this. They don't know what's coming next, and therefore they just don't feel like, children are,
Yeah.
they thrive on routine. So
Yes.
get them in a routine as quickly as possible. The other thing that has been key for me is staying on top of assignments. Often we get assignments that are due in the following week,
Mm.
and you would hear, oh, we will do that tomorrow.
Yeah.
No, you will do that today because you have time.
Mm.
So I think to stay on top of what the children have to do, often we might not be able to be there in the class per se to see what's happening in the class, but as far as possible, find out what they're doing and find out what their assignments are to stay on top of them, because some children will be diligent. I have one diligent soul and a not so diligent soul. So I think to be on top of that helps to manage the expectations on both the teachers and our ends, and helps to make sure that they are actually gaining something from the experience. The other thing that I'm very mindful of is to be aware of your child's exhaustion level. Being in a classroom and sitting in front of a device are two different things. A couple days ago, I found my not so disciplined child under the table while class was going on. Be aware of those things. And it's not something that I would say, oh, she was being naughty, but I think it was more, I'm exhausted, I had enough. So be very aware of that and communicate with your teachers about it so that you can find solutions to address those issues and address your child's needs.
I think that's well said, and it leads us right into the next question, because the next question asks, at what age would you suggest is old enough for a child to be able to handle their own online school schedules? Is this a good time to teach them about time management?
Yes, this is a good time to teach them about time management. There are so many things that children can learn, so many learning opportunities and teaching moments in basic things. So as it relates to the age group, again, it depends on the child, but children are more, I find that children are more, it's easier to teach children when it really comes to technology and it is to teach adults. If you have a child who has to learn something new about a device, and then church has come to an end, I need to teach a 60-year-old lady in church how to get on Zoom for worship, it's easier to teach the child normally, as my experience has been. The child grasps it a lot quicker than the older person. So I can't say what particular age, but as I said, Kelsey 8, yeah, she just turned 8 a week or so ago. She's pretty savvy. Alyssa's 5, and there are a couple of things that she can do, but she's not yet at that stage where she can do most things. It's still, she knows some things, and she will look and see when I'm doing certain things, but for her it's still to set up, and then it's still to monitor, because with technology things happen. So the person may be knocked off, the screen may go blank, something may pop up, whatever. So you still need to be around. You're not supposed to just leave them there in front of the screen by themselves. But yes, from as early as they can grasp it, 4, 5, 6, if some younger than that, you teach them, and you also bring in the time management aspect as well.
I want to add to Kim. I think it's a valuable time. I mean, I think our kids have gained the opportunity to learn things like typing. I mean, I never really thought to introduce it before, but no, they have to do assignments. So they get a jump ahead with a lot of things. They get to learn to type, they get to learn to maneuver slides. It's amazing the things that they can do. No, they're masters at recording videos, and they want video editing software, and these are things that are just fun for them. So I think incorporating these things into their learning and suggesting it to teachers, because they may not think of it, I think are valuable lessons that can really push them ahead. This generation that got this COVID pandemic has a little edge in that regard. They got an edge on learning the technology. So I think as much of it that can be utilized, we should let it be involved in their learning as much as possible.
Okay, fantastic. Another question goes in a slightly different direction. Person is asking, there are reports that families have more arguments and conflicts now that everyone is at home. How can we avoid conflicts with children while we are, according to the question, cooped up for so long?
Interesting, very interesting. Again, there are no blanket answers. There are some persons and some families um, that are more stay at home, introverted, and there are some who are more always going out, extroverted. Uh, so it's going to be more difficult if there are members in the family who always are always out, always on the go, always doing things, and the home time is very limited. But how can you manage that? By each person coming to the realization, or especially the adults and the older children and teens, each person coming to the realization, well, this is a situation, it is temporary, it's only for a time, and it is necessary um, for our safety, for our health, so that we can get back as close as possible to what was normal before. And you recognize that we're going to be together in this space more than normal. There must be some give and take. As Roxanne was saying earlier, you don't be too hard and show grace. Really that people will still need their space as much as possible. The me time. You have me time, you have adult time, you have children time, and um, this consideration is give and take all around. Again, in my experience, uh, I personally have not had to deal with this issue because my wife has been extremely busy with so many things. She's doing her churchly studies, preparing for class, doing this, doing that. So she's always doing something. Then there's always plan. There's always something. Again, planning. There's always something for the children to do. And then I float here and there is sort of flexible. I've had to do some things that I you know didn't see myself doing before. Or sometimes I would be in a meeting or I'd be doing something and children would be there every minute. I was like, okay, let's do it. I'm trying to finish. I have to give a specific time. Okay, it's gonna be finished in about 30 minutes or I'm finished in an hour, 45 minutes, then I'll come and play. So I have to find myself having pretend tea parties and drinking pretend tea and sandwiches and something I never thought in my life. But in order to avoid nagging, say, okay, I'm going to do it. Then I'm going to do it when I'm finished there. So, and when I'm finished, I go and do it. I go to the tea party. We have them do their fashion shows. I sit down here applaud as they introduce the next big fashion hit. It's a matter of something you have to do some things that so you have to do some things that you would not have ordinarily done or would not have seen yourself doing. Yes, I have to sometimes sit down and get a hairstyle that I really didn't intend on having. But it's a matter for the equilibrium, for the harmony is give and take. They're having the me time, you're having various things, having planned activities. It is a variety of things in order to to navigate with persons. You're having more time at home and around other than normal.
Seems fair. Sounds like it would have been a fantastic afternoon. As long as you're not dressing up, I think you should be okay.
Only bubbles and bows.
You should take pictures. That sounds like something to see.
You should.
Another question. How can I get my 14-year-old son to stand home and keep off the road? I'm tired talking now. That's a question from one of our audience members.
Tackle this one.
Yeah, I know you're tired talking. You have to talk some more, and I don't know if you are a reader of the news, but every day I make sure that I read Nation News online. I read Barbados Today online, and there's a whole page every day of persons who have been charged. Some have been fined, some have been jailed for breaking curfew. Some from as young as 18 up to elderly persons, both male and female. So you not only talk, you continue to talk, but you show, because it's not just a matter of, okay, you're supposed, I want you to stay at home and you're leaving, but there's serious consequences. But when you leave, if you leave and you're caught, I mean, if you are not at home and the police stops you and you cannot give them a good reason, you're going to be charged. And every single day, I don't know how many persons see, but both major newspapers, at least the ones that I read, they have a whole page of persons who've been brought before the court. Those who pleaded guilty, normally they will get bail and they have to come back. Sometimes those who plead guilty, they're either fined depending on their antecedents, or they're in prison for 6 months or less at this stage of first offense. So it is not just a matter of I want you to do this, but this thing has serious consequences as it relates to law and order, and it also has serious health consequences, because you don't know what you can go there and catch, and you may be asymptomatic, you may not show any symptoms, but then you may bring it to me, you may bring it to your grandparents, you may bring it to somebody who has an underlying condition. So you need to continue to talk and talk, pray, and just try to make as plain as possible the consequences. The bottom line is, I don't think at 14 you can get, and even if you can, it was not you made to tell them, but you need to talk, and you need pray and try as much persuasion as possible.
So if I can add there as well, I think yes, talking is important. It's very important, but how you talk is even more important. I think, again, as showing compassion and seeing where they're at, because most young people probably will not appreciate. I mean, they understand it to a certain extent, but they're like, just let's be over with it already. I think I've heard a few parents of teenagers, and I mean, I don't know how it goes, because to me, door lock can go, and that's how I am looking at it from my inexperienced view. But I think understanding where they're at and trying to find a middle ground, like I saw a parent just this weekend have a birthday party online, a surprise birthday party, finding some way to find that middle ground and let them know, I get you, I understand that this stuff, but we gotta figure out a way to make this work together. And not just say try and stand the host. Just find a way to talk and also come down to their level and relate to them in a way that they feel understood and feel cared for and not just commanded.
Yay, great stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm hoping that you are taking your pens and pencils and your notepad and taking all of this wonderful information. We have a couple more questions, but just before we do that, just let you know that those of you who just joined us, welcome to TNT Thursday Night Talk. We are sponsored by the St. Thomas District of Seventh-day Adventists, also Clayton's Fresh Produce and Patrick's Variety. So we have sponsors, and my producers also let me know we have about 12 minutes, so we have to make our answers very succinct. And so let me just take this question that was just posed in the chat. Let me just read it to you guys quickly. Question: how much information about COVID-19 should we tell our children? Wouldn't some of the information make them too anxious or probably scared?
I think tell them as much as you can, but within context. I mean, children don't have to hear find a way to present the material in a palatable form. And there are a lot of videos online. There are a lot of materials online for different ages that you can find. The resources there on UNICEF, on PAHO's website. Look for these things and find a good way to present. I don't think you need to overwhelm them. Don't tell them every day, but they're going to hear it anyway. So let's hear it from a good source, and let's hear it in a way that is understood, that is kind, but also an age appropriate. And I think as parents, we're in the best position to determine what that is for our children, what they can manage. So I think share as much as you can, but in an age appropriate form. And there's a lot of material out there that is available, a lot of resources available.
Great. Roger, I'm going to direct this question to you. Another one from the chat quickly. They have a friend who has a 4-year-old grandchild in his house. And the problem the class has is that the parents keep butting in the class, and the teacher has to keep reminding the parents that they need to allow her to control her class. Any help for parents who are butting in class, in classroom and taking over? How can we help this?
My question would be why? Why does that parent feel the need to butt in? Is it that you're not comfortable with what the teacher is doing? I don't know. But you see, I really don't know. It depends on when you know the reason why, then you can address it. But there's something that Roxanne would have said earlier that I would want to bring back here, and that is you need to have a really good relationship with your child's teacher. That covers a multitude of sins. That does so many wonders. Just have that good relationship, and one where you can speak to the teacher probably before class begins. You can speak to the teacher if possible when children break, because you're not going to go straight through. You're going to have breaks, or if you can arrange to speak to the teacher after class is finished. I don't know how many parents would be in chats, class chats with the other parents and the teachers, or you may have the teachers WhatsApp contact information. But that is something that I believe can be solved if there is there must be some sort of communication. Let's set up a time where the teacher and the parent can have a conversation, and I believe I guess depending on what the issue is, that can be held at that level, because you can't really do much during teaching time, because you want to maximize the teaching time. So that an arrangement needs to be made where parent and teacher can talk, and have been privileged where I can do that. I can speak to my children's teacher before school, after school. I can WhatsApp them, I can call them, whatever. So we need to work out something where that is concerned, because there must be something, there must be some reason why the person continues to butt in, as it were.
Okay. Interesting. Good point. Now, next question from the chat says, my son is 11 years and he just started online school. When he finished, he just want to play games for the rest of the day. Sometime he wouldn't want to do any more schoolwork. He just want to play games, Roxanne. What should this parent, this concerned parent, do?
Schedule. Let them know this is the time for school. This is the time for assignments. This is time for play. And I think once children get into that routine, then they know, they get accustomed. It might be hard at first, but once they stick to it, children will adjust and get into what they need to do without too much talking. Just get a schedule and stick to it as much as possible.
Okay, here are some fun things. Now, for both Roxanne and Roger, have you learned any new games with your children? Have you played any new games with your children, like hopscotch? You know, for those of us who may be a little bit more mature in age, so there are some games now that our younger ones may not, have the privilege of playing. Did you get any time to play those games with your children?
Yes, I have actually. I have been able to. Sometimes they're the ones that have suggested, and they may have seen, they may have heard about them, they may have passed somewhere and seen something drawn on a car park or on a court somewhere, and they would have asked in the past, can we play that? How do you play that? And we would have had the time. But yes, the hopscotch for sure. They want to play rounders. And they've also I've been teaching them to catch. Something as simple as catching a ball. I took it for granted. I mean, we grew up running on the outside all the time. Yeah, but they can now catch. Not perfectly, but learning how to catch. And yes, they have And I think I have learned, I've learned a couple of hand games. Just last week, the CKM with 4 white horses. So yeah, it has been an interesting learning experience.
Any
Yes.
question to you, Roxanne?
Yes. We played some game. We did hopscotch. We drew pictures on this outside on the pavements. We played balloon badminton, paper plates and balloons. And I think they saw something about a beanbag toss that they want to trade it. So they want us to make the bean bags, first of all. And I promised them, I don't know when, but to throw them at different targets. So we've done some interesting things, yeah.
Okay, great. And my producers they're all talking about snakes and ladders. Do you play snakes and ladders and Ludo and Chinese checkers,
Mastermind.
mastermind, or board games?
We do,
Mhm.
we do, but I have two children that don't like to lose.
You don't like to lose.
Or especially if you go down the mouth of a long snake when you're almost there to win. Sometimes it's a little tantrum, but
Confrontation. Okay.
that comes with the territory.
Are there and this is a wrap-up question really? Are there any shows, family shows that you guys like to watch together as a whole family? You get some popcorn and you sit down and you watch television and you say, well, this is my family time. I'm turn off my cell phone, turn off all the other gadgets, and we're just watching TV, or we can just go outside. For some of you may have a device you can watch it outside. Do you guys do that?
We watch movies sometimes together. We find a lot of the ones where the Kenrick brothers, I think it is, Overcomer, and my kids they will watch the same thing over and over. So Facing the Giants is one of our favorites. We can watch that many times. We watched Overcomer this weekend. It was good. So yes. And then there's also ones that they like Danae loves Fixies. And I'm amazed at what Fixies can teach. So yes, it's a good one to try for families.
I'm not really into movies, but yes, occasionally, when she has the time, the mom would find a movie because she's more the movie person, and I would probably look at it the first few minutes and then peek back in every now and again. But what I would do, what the children, whatever children I show that they watch, at certain times we all watch it together and then discuss what are the principles. So again, at the stage they're at, I think I've had more than my fill of Peppa Pig, Bernstein Bears, Paw Patrol. You know, I mean, they would. I tell them, well, you know, each person gets to choose one, and we'll sit down and we'll watch it with them. And as Roxanne was saying, and with a big son that they'll watch 4 times, and there's so many other things there that they can choose, and they will go back, and they will sit and they watch. They've never seen it before, and you know, and they will tell me, oh, but you know, this is coming up next on. This is the when they say this. This is the when they say that. Yeah, so I'm not really a big TV person, but yeah, make the time. Every time there's it's time to watch at least one that is chosen by each of the girls.
Okay, great. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank Roxanne White and Roger Cummins so much for taking the time to join us here on Thursday Night Talk. Ladies and gentlemen, we had a wonderful talk, a wonderful discussion. I've certainly learned a lot from the discussion. And there's something I just want to tell them. That sometimes I want to run. I want to run from my children. I just want to run, get away from them. You know, find a quiet place. We have a nice backyard. Sometimes just hide from my children because sometimes the stress can get to you. So, ladies and gentlemen, you have to find ways, means how to cope. If you live in an area where you can just have a nice stroll by yourself, you have to find ways and means how to cope, how to deal with the children. You have to find, have to plan a schedule. You have to have a schedule. You have to stick to it. And sometimes you can be flexible. I too like to watch Bernstein Bears. That show is I think that's the best show on TV, Bernstein Bears. The theme behind all of those things The themes are very good. I thoroughly enjoy that. A good family concept. Mommy, Daddy Bear, Brother Bear, Sister Bear. That is incredible. I think that show should be the only show for our children. But that's just me. That's just me. But I just really want to thank you guys, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank my producers. Also want to thank the St. Thomas district for allowing us the opportunity to have this show on the Zoom platform. We want to thank all those who are watching, who are listening to us on Zoom, on YouTube as well. We just want to thank you. You know, this show goes not only in Barbados, it goes regionally, it goes internationally. And Thursday Night Talk is a talk show that is for all of you. So again, on behalf of the St. Thomas district, comprises of churches in Welchman Hall, St. Thomas, Jackmans in St. Michael, and Belair in St. George, I am your host, Justin Allen, signing out for Thursday Night Talk. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good night. And also, as usual, we leave the room open for those of you who want to say a greeting to those persons who are joining us from overseas or your regular church members. And we just want to thank you. And before we do that, let's bow our heads for prayer. Father, we just thank you for a wonderful discussion. We thank you for all the blessings you bestowed upon us. And we ask, oh Lord, that as we continue our yard service, that our brethren will be blessed. In Jesus' name, amen.
I'm going to start the yard service. Sorry, I'm going to start the yard service to say to Roger and Roxanne, I thoroughly enjoyed the presentations and your different concepts, different ideas. You've renewed my willpower to keep plugging through, keep pushing on. And I did take copious notes of some ideas that you would have shared, because Pinterest is my friend as well. I like Pinterest. I mean, if the wheel is already there, don't even reinvent it. So thank you both. It was excellent.
You're welcome.
Yes, indeed. For those of you on YouTube, we just want to thank you for joining us as well. We have persons from Jamaica. We have persons from all the way in Massachusetts. We have persons joining us all over. And we just want to take this time to thank on behalf of the St. Thomas District, we want to thank you. We thank Roxanne and Roger for a wonderful job as well. We learned some new things. And we hope that we can continue this as we go on. Thank you again.